Hey! You are listening to the Grumpy Guy BJJ Podcast.
Hey, what's up, guys? Got to take care of a few things before we jump into this week's episode. First, our Ramping Isometrics for BJJ program. It is a 12-week program, all laid out for you. It's going to help you build strength and cardio in the fastest, safest, and most convenient way possible. This is how James and I have been training for the past year, and we love it. So we put this program together so you can just follow along, and we are certain you will see and feel the benefits that we do. It's only $15. Just go to grumpyguybjj.com, click the drop-down menu in the upper right-hand corner, and you'll find it. Next, R3. This is our K2 D3 supplement. It is a combination of those two vitamins, D3 and K2. These are two vitamins that James and I have been taking for a long time that really help us recover from hard training sessions. And for only $15 with free shipping, you get a whole month's supply. I was going to pull up some studies explaining the benefits of D3 and K2, but I'm not going to insult your intelligence and pretend to be a fucking scientist. I take it. It helps me recover. That's it. So for $15, check it out. And last but certainly not least, we have partnered up with Jiu-Jitsu.com. They have a ton of awesome BJJ instructionals, and they have hooked us up with a discount code for our listeners. It's Grumpy10. So what you got to do is you go to Jiu-Jitsu.com, which is DIGITSU.com. Find the instructionals you want, throw them in a shopping cart. In the little discount code box, you type in Grumpy10, which is just GRUMPY and the number 10. 10. That's it. No spaces. Boom. You get 10% off. You're up and running. They got a nice app you can download on your phone. That way you can take your instructionals right to the gym with you, watch the technique, drill it. It's a pretty sweet setup. So once again, DIGITSU.com. Discount code Grumpy10, GRUMPY10. Simple as that. To find all this stuff I just got done talking about, go to our website, grumpyguybjj.com. Click the drop-down menu in the upper right-hand corner. There, you'll subscribe to our newsletter for podcast updates. You'll find links for the Ramping ISOs program, the R3 recovery supplement, and then under the programs and products tab, you'll find a link to Jiu-Jitsu.com. And let's be honest, if you guys can't figure out how to navigate a website by now, there's nothing I can do to help you. So quit fucking around, check it out, train hard, and let's get into this week's episode.
3 and... Here we are.
Here we are. All of us.
Yep.
Yeah. 2 dogs, 3 humans.
That's right. And 2 Pokemon cards.
And 2 Pokemon cards. Hey,
Yeah.
and they kind of cheat the system. I thought we were only supposed to do 1.
Yeah. Thought we only had 1, man.
It's hard to decide.
You got to make a decision. It's part of your life skills.
Don't show them to me and I'll pick one.
I'm pretty sure we've seen this one before.
Okay.
Galvantula.
Let me
He looks
see.
familiar.
I got a pretty good memory.
He's a slash type. He's 2 types. But I seem to remember that spider-looking guy.
Yeah, I think we may have.
No. There, I have the last stage that looks pretty much like him too.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright, so let's hear this other one.
All right.
Okay, just in case.
Yeah.
Its name is Entei. It's basic.
Okay.
It's a fire type. It has 102 hit points. Its attacks are Burning Roar and Combat Blaze. Combat Blaze does 20 plus damage, and Burning Roar does 0 damage.
It does something. How many hit points does he have?
120.
There you go. Not 102. 120. It's good, man.
And then the little thing.
Yeah?
Okay. First I'll do these.
No, you don't need to read that. Just
Okay. It is said that when it roars, a volcano erupts somewhere around the globe.
Yeah.
And it's actually a rare.
Oh,
It's a legendary Pokemon.
wow. I seem to remember him from one of the movies.
Yeah,
Didn't he save everybody, come in and be legendary?
I think so.
Yep. Sounds like him.
I think that was like the Mewtwo Strikes Back or something.
Jax is over it. He's like, I'm out of here. You guys are boring. Can't lick the mic, chewed on Rob's fingers.
Yep.
That's it.
That was it.
And knock down the scoopers for Snakey's fish.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
He's trying to sniff those out.
Seems like typical puppy behavior.
Yep. Exploring stuff.
And he also knocked over the mic.
Yep. Which Aka's trying to do now. He's like, I can be just as puppy. Lay down, Akka.
So what else been going on, dude? You getting ready for school next week?
Yep.
You guys going back to like full on school, huh?
And also, actually, like everyone we talked to heard good things about my new second grade teacher.
Yep.
Awesome.
He's
A
got
lot
good
of
teacher.
people. There were some people at the what is it?
I don't know. What do you mean? I don't know what you're trying to...
There were some people at the. Okay, what's it called?
I mean, what's the point of the story? Don't worry about where it's at. What is the point? Maybe I can fill in where it was at if I knew what you're trying to say.
There were some people that actually said some good things about her that they requested, but they didn't get.
Oh yeah, somebody we were talking to at the farmer's market just said that she had requested the teacher for her kid, but didn't get it. But anyways, so
And also my friend's mom.
yes, there's a laundry list of people that we have run across. We don't have to go through the whole list of everyone and what they said about your new teacher. She is a good teacher, and you are very lucky to have her.
Yes.
So that's it. We don't have to tell everyone how lucky you are. You're lucky you have her. So, all right, but yeah, you got to wear masks. So we got to buy him some masks that actually fit.
We already did.
That's what I said. We had to buy you some. And then, yeah.
That's
That's how it
exciting.
goes.
You guys haven't been in school since what? Like March? They kicked everybody out of school, right? Around here?
Yeah, it was. It was
I
March.
think it was March.
Yeah.
That was the longest summer break in the history of summer breaks.
Yeah, it was. It was like an old school summer. We actually kind of started to get a little bored towards the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be interested to see how long
It goes.
it lasts for sure. But hopefully it's hopefully it works. It was, the teacher said that, I didn't even think about this, one of the side effects of all this is that like there are parents who are keeping their kids home and opting for online only, like you got the choice. And so she said this is the first time in like forever that she hasn't had like 25 plus kids in a class. She's only got 15 kids.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome for the kids that are going.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that. But
that's really cool.
yeah, and unfortunately that has started to become a problem around here. Like Fruta is growing like way faster than they ever anticipated. And so the schools and stuff are, we're starting to get overcrowded.
Overcrowded, yeah.
Yeah, so, Izzy, why don't you not see how close you can possibly get to the microphone and the phone so that if any slight little thing happens, you end up bumping into them and touching them. You know what I mean? So, we talk about these things.
I guess.
Well, that's cool, man. I'm excited for you. Get back, play with your friends, do some cool stuff,
Yep.
make some new friends. It's all good times, dude. You got a haircut, it looks like?
Got some new shoes.
You think you need a haircut like me, dude? You
pretty
come over to
close.
my house, man. I'll get that thing trimmed.
Closer than it was.
I'll get you looking right. We'll get you trimmed up.
He's not all shaggy. So, well, right on, man. Well, I guess that's it for the Pokemon update.
And any update?
Unless you got something else for us. Yeah?
No.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Bye.
We will talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
He was getting ready to run down the list of everyone and exactly what they said. Because we were, oh, you got a good teacher. And it's just started to get a little like, now he's got to tell everybody.
This
that,
person
like,
said
oh,
this.
this person said this. Yeah, and this person requested him and didn't get him. It's all like, look, this is how lucky I am. This teacher's so great. This is how great they are. And it's like, dude, all right.
It's funny, you picked up on it earlier and nipped it in the bud. You're
yeah. Well, I know him, man. He's a very detail-oriented guy.
I wonder where he gets that from.
I don't know.
Can't imagine
So, yeah, he likes to explain stories.
And he likes to talk a lot.
God,
again, I don't know where he gets that from.
And he explains shit in excruciating detail.
So yeah, all these things are just so surprising.
I know, man. I know. But, so, yes, I saw it. I recognized it coming. So, it's like, all right. Yeah, they're gonna give school a try.
Should we get a pool going as to how long it's gonna last? What do you think?
Fuck, man.
If you got to guess,
on like my gut feeling, man, I don't know. You know, there's like 3 stages. Do we make it through the whole school year?
No.
Like, probably not. You know, so it's like, at what point are they gonna pull the plug? And it's either gonna, like, if we can make it through the first like month or so, I think we'll make it at least through like Christmas break.
You know, it's funny. That's about my line of thinking too. Was it's either gonna end real soon, it's gonna last like a month, maybe 2 max, and then they'll see
they're gonna get like 3 cases, and it's gonna be like, we gotta
everybody can freak out and pull the plug.
No,
but I think if it makes it past that threshold, then maybe it will go the whole year. You know,
yeah.
Because
I think Christmas break that'll be one of those, like, because that's what happened with it this time. It was spring break. They sent them home for spring break, and they just never went back. And they were like, school, you know, blah blah blah, and they just never went back. So I think that Christmas break will probably provide that opportunity where they're just going to be like, yeah, we're just, you know, not going to have you guys come back. We're just going to shift to online learning because, you know, coronavirus cases are up or whatever. It's fucking, dude, it's so stupid. I was telling Kelly, like, you know, the governor just extended the 30-day or the mandatory mask order. Mm-hmm. And, you know, in it, part of it is like, you know, well, you know, we've seen a decrease in coronavirus cases, and so the trend is definitely moving in the right direction, which, you know, shows that masks have been helping. And I'm like, you know what else didn't happen in the last 30 days? Large gatherings of motherfuckers rioting and protesting shit also didn't happen.
Oh, no, you can't you can't bring that up.
So not having those would also result in fewer coronavirus cases too. But it's the fucking masks. It's not the large gatherings of assholes.
Nope, you can't bring that up.
Right. No, I know. So they're not all assholes. I mean, there are some people in there. There are some legitimate things that need to be addressed, and there are some people in there that truly care about it. But there are a lot of just assholes.
Yep.
Jumping on board with it.
Yep.
So yeah, to me it's amazing, dude. It's like those things never happen. It's like a separate universe. They happen in a vacuum. Mm-hmm. They happen and coronavirus happened, but they happen separately. There was just no fucking overlap at all. And it's just like, it's insanity. Like, this is gonna be one of those things when the history books look back, and it's just gonna be like, what the fuck was wrong with these people? Like, couldn't they see? Like, why would they just pretend that this had no impact?
Dude, like, I got some first-hand experience with this real liberal, lefty fucking bullshit. So, as you know, I was in Denver last weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
the fucking enclave.
My poor dog that my ex had got hit by a car. So I went there to help her take care of it. Well, first of all, you know, dude, Denver is really lefty. I mean, it's nowadays it is super lefty. Like, it is fucking crazy. I've been in this state for 13 years now. It's always kind of leaned that way a little bit since I've been here, but not like this. This is a different thing, and is what I'm getting at. Well, one, even like 99% of the homeless people that I saw were wearing masks. More homeless people wear masks in Denver than like just regular people here in Grand Junction, which is kind of funny. But then, the more important detail I'm getting to is this. So the dog got hit by a car. She was in the dog hospital for a week or so, and the doctors in there, nice people. They saved my dog's life. I'm not gonna knock them for that. But the way they would talk to us and treat us, and they are so careful as to not offend in any way, shape, or form. Instead of just being cut and dry, like, this is what we think, this is what's happened, it was fucking maddening. I mean, there was just so many just different things here and there they'd say, and I was just, I was like, I can't talk to these motherfuckers. Like, talk to me like a person. Like,
yeah.
No, man. Like, oh, well, we can't, because Dawn wanted to go see the dog when she's still in the hospital, because, you make a connection with your dog. And that could even help to heal because this dog is hurt in a strange environment with all these strange people. It doesn't know what's going on. So to go up there and spend some time, just pet her is good. And any normal person would be like, yeah, of course, you've got a bond with your dog. We'll let you come see the dog for a little bit, But the doctor's like, well, he's like, I can't comment on the bond between you and your animal. Just like, because apparently at one time he was afraid, like he mentioned a bond, like assumed somebody had a bond with the animal, maybe it offended him. Like, there was just so many comments like that were just like, oh my fucking God, dude! Like, give it to us straight. Like,
you spend more time worried about offending people than just delivering information.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was. So, and thankfully, man, we had, like, I was losing my shit. I was like, I can't talk to these people. I can't listen to them. I can't talk to them, and because whatever the information they give us, then I would like, okay, here's what they're telling us, but they're afraid to say it.
Yeah.
So thankfully, we had a good friend of ours. She actually was our veterinarian here in town. And Dawn ended up becoming real good friends with her. She closed her practice down, she just decided to, but she still, was a great vet. She took care of all her dogs. And so we sent all our records over to her. And she's like, I'd be happy to take a look at them. She took a look at them and then, called us and talked to us. And she gave it to us straight.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank fucking God there's people out there like that. Because I knew she would.
Mm-hmm.
And she wasn't an asshole about it. And she even tried to put it nicely what the other vet was doing. She's like, I see how they're talking. She's like, they're trying to give you hope, but she's like, that's not always the best case.
Yeah.
And so she gave it to you straight. But it's that lefty culture, it's so frustrating, man.
Yeah, you don't want to it's like you don't want to offend people. And how much of that is because, like, you genuinely don't want to offend people, and how much of it is because you don't want to get fucking canceled.
That's exactly what it is. And I can sense it. It doesn't come from a genuine place.
No.
It's not from a place of like, oh, you're just really trying to be a nice person.
It's not being a nice person. It's acting disingenuously.
Yes, exactly. And you can sense it, you can feel it, and it's to cover your ass.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yep.
It's not, oh, this is just how this person is. They're nice. Oh, right. No. You can tell.
Yeah.
We've been, our social skills are pretty decent. And when someone's being disingenuous around you, you can fucking tell.
Yeah.
And it's gross feeling.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you don't think I can tell what's going on right here? Like, do you think I'm this fucking stupid?
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I remember, I think I've told a story before, it's kind of related, but the, writing articles online, when they started allowing people to post comments under the articles, that completely changed the culture of writing for websites, because all of a sudden people would, you were so worried about what people were going to comment and say and argue. And so that you spent most of your time thinking about, well, how am I going to, you're not just writing the article and delivering the information. And then people have a discussion, because that's not how people operate on the internet. They fucking just say shit, right? They don't ask questions like, well, I don't understand this. Why did you say that? They come on, they're like, well, you said this. This is obviously wrong and you're an idiot. And it's like, oh, shit, man. And, and so it's funny, man. It's been brewing for a long, long time. And a lot of it is the internet. The internet culture is bleeding over into the real world. Yeah. And, where you've got, on the internet, you've got moderators and, people on Facebook and Twitter monitoring shit and removing things that are offensive and all this stuff. And so now, like, that's an artificial reality. Like, that's not real. That's not but people that's what they want, and they're so used to it. And then they go in the real world and they have to deal with people who aren't moderated and can say whatever the fuck they want. And it's like, oh my God, you're so offending me now. And yeah, it's a problem. It is a fucking problem.
It is a problem. Dude, it's just gross.
It is gross.
That is the best description I can come up with it, man. It is just gross feeling.
Yeah.
And it's very obvious.
Yep. Dude, it's, I was going to tell you, I started seeing a little bit of a narrative coming from CNN about the obesity and how obesity affects, coronavirus. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you saw that, like, this is hilarious, man, right? So I didn't even think about this until I read it, and I'm like, oh, these are some fucking God, these guys are so good at what they do, man.
Yep.
So the angle that they took was that like, hey, all right, we know we're talking about a vaccine around the corner, but pump your brakes, motherfuckers, because vaccines don't work as well on fat people. And there's a lot of fat people in this country. Of course, they're staying obese and all the nice things. But here's the kicker. You read a little deeper in, and you know whose fault it is that fucking people are fat?
They're not their own.
It's the government. The government's fault.
Of course.
And, you know, part of it is, you know, they're pointing to, like, the SNAP, like, food, like, whatever, food stamp type thing. And that, like, the government buys, like, soda and, you know, cheap junk food as part of these programs. And so, therefore, the government is somehow, you know, responsible for people being fat. And like this is the angle. There was no personal responsibility angle at all in the piece. It was 100% the government is responsible because they're fucking forcing cheap food on poor colored people, and that's making them fat. And it's just another example of the government failing the fucking poor colored people.
And those are the same assholes.
That's like, wow.
That would complain.
That's impressive.
That would complain that if you couldn't buy candy and soda with food stamps, they would bitch. Oh, the government knows what's best for me. Telling me I can't buy this.
Take my freedom away.
Take my freedom away.
Tell me I can't buy that. Yep.
They'd be the same fucking people, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I saw another quote from our buddy Fauci about like herd immunity, like why the herd immunity, you know, method wouldn't. It's not that it wouldn't work in the United States. It would work.
It would work.
Right. It was just what would the effects be? And he was like, basically, he said that with the obesity epidemic that we have, there's a fucking quote from this guy, right? Like, there's an obesity epidemic, the amount of people that have hypertension, diabetes, I forget what else, like, I think there was like another, you know, of the preventable diseases, and he's like, you know, the numbers of people who die would be unacceptable. And then nothing followed up with like, so one of the best things that we can do to help is for people to address these things and eat better and move more. And, you know, it's like, you know, it's this weird disconnect where like they're pointing and saying like, hey, you know, the open secret is that obesity, diabetes, all these things increase your chances of fucking dying from this thing and getting really sick from it.
So take care of yourself.
Then there's the disconnect.
But you can't say that.
They're just using it to drive more fear.
Yep.
To say, like, well, this is why a vaccine isn't really going to work. So pump your brakes, guys. They're like, well, this is why we couldn't do the herd immunity tactic. But then you can't go the next step further and be like, so people need to fucking take better care of themselves. Like, that's the fucking maddening thing. It's like fucking crazy. And that was the thing too, man. Did you hear the Joe DeSena interview on Joe Rogan?
Yep.
Dude, I want to jump through the fucking radio
about
and choke Joe out with his like when Joe DeSena was proposing some, you know, like a sugar tax or some sort of way to try to restrict people's choices or incentivize them to make better choices, and Joe's like, no, you can't take away people's freedom. People should have the freedom to do that. You can't take away people's freedom. And it's like, Joe, we're not free right now. So what I said at the very beginning of this thing, right? Being fat is no longer a personal choice. It's a matter of national security. Your being fat affects my freedom because you're fat. It means that we can't effectively handle this as a nation, which means that my freedoms get fucking restricted.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm sitting here with restricted freedoms while Joe fucking Rogan's sitting there saying that, no, we can't restrict people's freedoms to eat shit. Again, it's this weird disconnect that it's like, no, man, no. If we're going to admit that obesity and all these things are part of the reason that this is hitting us so hard and we're having to shut down and restrict people's freedoms and fucking ruin lives, obesity and all this shit is no longer a personal choice. It's because it doesn't just affect you. When you could say like, hey man, it just affects me, which it never did, right? Because I'm paying the extra insurance. We've always paid for these motherfuckers.
Yep.
But now it's like really in your face and my freedoms are being restricted because of these motherfuckers. And it's like, no, we need to restrict these things, man. We've got to do something to change what is going on. And that starts with restricting the freedoms. Like, you can't have a pure, you need some regulations. Like, that's the thing. And like, like fucking letting McDonald's advertise to kids is bullshit. Mm-hmm. It's like no different than letting the tobacco companies advertise to kids. It's like, we shouldn't be allowing these food companies to basically lie to people, creating this image of what is going to happen to you when you eat these foods and consume these products. Like, what's the fucking difference, man? Between them showing, beautiful models fucking drinking sodas and eating chips and shit, and, it's a lie. It's a fucking lie. It's not where most people go. So, like, that, something needs to happen, but the money, the lobbies, like all that, it's like insurance, man. Insurance is so broke. Fixing it is not the most difficult thing in the world, but the system is so entrenched, and you got so much fucking money and power for certain people that it's like, it's not going anywhere. They try to fix it, they make it worse. Mm-hmm. They're trying to fix this, they're making it worse. Yeah, it's maddening, man.
Dude, it's so maddening.
Yeah.
It's just because there's such, I think like you hit it right on the head with the disconnect. There is such a disconnect, and I've said it a million times before, and I'll keep saying it, the lack of personal responsibility, man. It's just not in our culture anymore.
No.
It's not. You're not expected to have to take care of yourself and be the best version of yourself. People like you and I, not that we're, the greatest people in the world, but,
we're the exception.
We're the exception, and we're the weirdos. Time and time again. Still in this day and age. Like, I'll get comments, and people look at you different. You're outside working out or doing this or doing that, and it's just like...
It's always been that way, dude.
I know, man.
Scare the normals.
Fucking people, man. They're just... No personal responsibility, man. It's so agitating.
Yeah.
They're fucking lazy. And then when shit doesn't go right, it's not their fault. It's not the fact that you just fucked up and made poor decisions.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, if you really look at most of the shit going on in your life, it's due to the fucking decisions you made, man.
Yeah.
Once in a while, you'll get a freak thing happen. Like if this wildfire was to roll over the mountains, start burning a town down.
Yeah.
There's things like that, okay, you can't blame that on yourself.
Right.
But you could blame your lack of preparedness on it.
If you got 3 mortgages,
yep.
And a fucking 2-car pay, like, those things are your fault.
Those things are your fault.
That was another thing, man, when Joe was interviewing that Peter Schiff guy.
Yep.
Strongly disagreed with Joe and his, like, through no fault of their own, this has happened. It's been 4 months. Through no fault of anybody. It's like, no. Coronavirus wasn't anyone's fault, but the fact that they were strung to the fucking last penny.
And so fragile.
It made them fragile, and that was their choice. They didn't have to buy that house. They didn't have to take on the car payments. They didn't have to have the credit card debt. They didn't have to have those things. That was their choice. So you finding yourself in this situation and finding yourself about to fucking drown, again, man, where's the personal responsibility? Like, that was, again, like, Joe's Mr. Personal Responsibility when it comes to fucking food and exercise, but somehow financial decisions are like, well, you can't blame that kid if he wants that $80,000 Camaro, and, if they're going to give it to him, like, it's through no fault of his own.
No, personal responsibility covers all aspects of life.
Yeah, man. It does. But again, there's disconnects that people have between one area and another. And I thought I heard Eickhoff whining. He ran off when he heard me getting agitated. He's like, oh shit, I don't want to go in there.
I know this tone.
So dude, I got a fucking crazy story to tell you. I've been waiting to tell you this story live on the air because I want to get your live reaction to it. So, dude, we had this crazy run-in with this lady at the trailhead the other day. So it's Thursday, which is...
So you and Kelly?
Me and the kids.
Oh, and the whole fam.
Yeah, dude, it's family adventure day, right?
Okay.
So we pile in the car, we go over to Devil's Canyon, we go to this, parking spot we always go to, and we pull in, and we're going in, and we're like, oh, this is great. No one's here. There's one car. No one else is there. And the person was walking back to their car. And so we're like, oh, this is fucking perfect. And so I'm driving by, and dude, the fucking lady had a dog, and this dog charges the car. Like
aggressively?
Aggressively barking and charges the car. And like, I had to stop to make sure, am I going to hit this dog? Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, she's paying zero attention. and the thing starts like barking at Akka's got his head hanging out the window,
right.
and the thing is like barking at Akka, and the lady's just all like, this was her quote, "Yeah, she's sketchy as hell." This is what she says. And she's just like walking by and letting her dog just fucking like charge and bark at our car and my dogs, and like her response is like, "Yeah, she's sketchy as hell."
No attempt to control it.
No, nothing. And so, yeah. So I drive down a ways and park, and I mean we're a good ways away, man, like 100 plus feet away from each other, and probably a little. Anyways, I'm sitting there trying to like calculate it because I'm such an exact asshole. But I'm like, man, okay, everybody just I'm gonna get out of the car and everybody just chill, and I'm looking at her, and she's like standing by her car, and she's like doing something with the dog, but she's not controlling the dog, and she's not getting in the car, and she's just kind of like standing there, and like finally I'm like, man, we gotta go. We can't just like hole up in our car until she goes. So I tell her, I say, hey, if your dog charges us, we're gonna defend ourselves. That's it, right? I don't want to fucking break up a dog fight.
No.
Like, I'm not gonna wait until something bad happens. Like, if this dog comes fucking charging, like,
I'm gonna stop
it before it gets here.
Yep.
Yes, and it's gonna get kicked in the fucking head harder than it knew was possible.
Yep.
And that's what's gonna happen. But I just said, that's all I said. It was like, hey, if your dog attacks, or charges us, we're gonna defend ourselves. And Akka was like off behind me, like sniffing, paying zero attention. And of course, the dog, hears me, turns around, starts charging. And the lady calls the dog.
What kind of dog? What size dog, roughly? Just kind of paint the picture.
Somewhere between like Ajax and Akka.
So 50-pound dog?
Yeah,
50, 60-pound dog?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think
which is legitimate enough to deal with. Like, that's.
Oh yeah, no.
You get a 50-pound dog wanting to do some damage.
Yeah.
You get your work cut out for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, so I'm watching this dog, and I'm like, oh shit, this is exactly what I didn't want to have happen. And so she calls the dog, and luckily the dog stops and turns around and goes back. And she puts it on a leash, and I was like, thank you. Mm-hmm. And I turn around and go back to the car and, getting stuff. And all of a sudden this lady starts screaming at me. She's like, why isn't your dog on a leash? I'm like, my dog doesn't charge anybody. She's like, well, my dog wouldn't have charged you if you hadn't said anything. If you hadn't said anything, he wouldn't have known you were there, and he wouldn't have charged. So, I mean, dude, she just lost her fucking shit. And she is like, I can't even really recreate what she was saying. Like, I couldn't, I'm like looking at her like, oh my God.
Like, is this really happening?
Yes. And so she is screaming at me. And then she starts throwing in the like, fuck yous. And I'm like, you wish. Like I'm way too fucking good for you, bitch. And she's like I don't know, farm chick, man, like kind of a 40s, farm chick.
Uh-huh.
So she's a little thick set.
Uh-huh.
She what she struck me as was a horse person.
Okay, yep.
And they basically rule the trail.
Yep.
And they're not used to having people say anything to them and talk to them. And so she just seemed completely just fucking flabbergasted that I had like said anything to her in the first place. And again, like, and she is fucking screaming at me and it's like, fuck you. And, I don't even know, man. I can't even, like, I don't even know what she was fucking pissed off about. And then she would get in her car and she would be like fucking, I would see her, dude, she's like raging. She's like screaming at the top of her lungs and fucking shaking her fist. And then she'd get back out of her car and she'd be like, fuck you. If you hadn't said anything, he wouldn't have charged. Fuck you.
Are you serious?
Yo, dude, yeah. I'm just sitting here like, whoa, okay. I'm like, and then I'm like, hey man, I it's cool. Have a nice day. And that just fucking set her off, like, because I wouldn't engage with her. I wouldn't fucking lose my temper and start screaming at her too. And I'm just sitting here like, talking calmly, like, hey, the most aggressive thing I said was when she said "fuck you," I said "you wish." Mm-hmm. And that fucking flipped her out too, dude. Like, you could tell this chick is not used to having someone with half a brain like talk to her and like put her in check, because it's like, dude, your dog didn't, oh, that's right. She's like, yeah, I said, she said, oh, he wouldn't have charged if you hadn't said anything. And I told her, I'm like, well, you're talking to me right now, and my dog's not charging you. So like, you know, I was like, you have an uncontrolled dog or an untrained dog off the leash. Mm-hmm. And that's when again, another point where she just fucking lost it. He's not untrained. He's not untrained. You know, your dog is untrained. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. Then she starts screaming at me like, you know, she could see that there were kids in the car. She's like, look at the example you're setting for your kids. Look at this. Look at the example you're setting for them. And I'm like, oh my God, man. Freaking out, man. And yeah, and so finally I'm like, all right, cool. And I turn around and I walk off. Mm-hmm. I start walking back to our car. And this fucking bitch gets in her car and starts driving at me. Yeah, fucking floors it and starts like, you know, kind of half-ass implying like she's gonna run me over. And I'm like, this chick's lost her mind. Mm-hmm. And so I turn around and I'm like, holy shit. And she fucking gets out of the car again. At this point, I'm like, I'm gonna have to fight this chick.
I'm gonna have to put hands on her.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to restrain her.
Yes,
call the cops.
I think she's fucking. Yeah, I was like fully convinced she's coming, and so like she's getting out of the car, and I'm just sitting here like, you know, I don't even know. I was just kind of like just standing, and she gets out of the car, and she looks at me, and she's like, you know, standing with her hands on her hips, like, "Are you happy now? Are you happy?" I'm like, "What the fuck?" She's like, "I would have been gone. If you hadn't said anything, I would have been gone in a few minutes. Now look at all this." And I'm like, oh my God. And at this point, Kelly starts piping in. And she's like, "You're the one who said your dog is sketchy." You know, because she's like, I told her, like, your dog charged us. No, he didn't. You know what I mean? She's like completely just, this is where she's at. She is completely just
lost her mind.
Fucking unhinged, man. And she would get out of the car and she'd scream at us. And then she'd get back in the car and do her fucking rage thing. Roll down her window. Ah, fuck yeah. Get back in. Get back out of the car. I'm just like, oh my God. Like, I want to leave, but I'm kind of like, I don't want to turn my back on this chick again.
No.
And so I'm like, so finally, you know, when she had gotten in her car, we all thought she was leaving. So everybody had gotten out of the car. So when she charged up to us and got back out again, like, the whole family's standing there. And I'm just like, dude, this is fucking insane. So finally, you know what stopped it? Mm-hmm. I pulled out my phone and started filming it. And that seemed to, like, snap her back into, like...
reality a little bit?
Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. I don't know. It's funny, though. I was like, you know, I don't know where it dawned on me. But I'm like, you know, they do this shit to, like, fucking film. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know. It was like, yeah, I'm going to put this on film. So if anything happens...
I have proof.
I have proof of what's going on here. This is not a he said, she said thing. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I fucking pull out my phone, turn it on, and, you know, started filming. I'm like, that's it. You're on camera now. I was like, I got your license plate number. I was like, just for the record, this lady's dog's charged us twice. She's driven her car at me. She's been screaming at us and threatening us for several minutes, and she is just flipping out. And she's in the background, "That's not what happened. You're a pussy. Fuck you." Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, just raging, man. I've never really seen a human being as unhinged as this chick was.
What the fuck?
Man? And, yeah, I was just like, you know. Yeah, so finally, like, because I had her on film, like, she got in her car and was like, "What are you going to do?" You know, and so she just fucking peels out. And I was like, okay, let's go have our hike. So we had a good day, rest of the day. But at one point, dude, there at the end when I got my camera,
like, my heart rate's racing just thinking about it right now. Just, you know, putting myself in that position. Like, what do? You know, you just, yeah, you try to stay as calm as possible and prepare to defend yourself. And like, lady, I don't want to take you down and strangle you unconscious until the cops come here. But guess what? I will. I'll be more than happy to.
In fact, if my wife will. In fact, I'll stand back and let my wife fucking tackle your ass.
If you get too close to me, I'm going to hit you with the earth.
Yeah. And
then choke you unconscious. And it's going to be something you've never experienced before.
Dude, yeah.
You know, but you don't want to go that far.
No.
That's just a whole nother ball of wax.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, I feel like, I look back and I'm like, I shouldn't have gotten engaged with someone that unhinged. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that was, I made a mistake there, but man, I don't know what to, you know, I could have done. Like, I'm trying to avoid a dog fight.
Yep.
And then I just reacted. I just answered her question when she's like, "Why isn't your dog on a leash?" You know, and I'm like, "My dog didn't charge anyone." And then that just fucking, set her off. And, you know, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have like continued to talk to her and engage with her, but I just don't expect for things to go that far off the tracks. You think like, hey, you know, you'll say your piece real quick and get in the car and leave, and it's fine. But
I mean, you know, the only thing, you know, if you're like looking at it just from the information you've given me, possibly like because you guys, I would have done the same thing. I would have sat in the car like, okay, it looks like she's leaving and this dog's an asshole. Let's just sit in the car and wait.
Yeah.
Because, you know, let's just sit in the car, wait. She'll get in the car and there'll be no issue.
Yep.
Providing she was fucking taking her sweet time. You know, you get out like, you know, and then like going up to her like, hey, is your dog gonna charge us if we get out and start doing our thing? If so, can you put it on a leash? Because we're gonna start our hike. You know, but
yeah,
you know, like beyond that,
yeah,
you know, like what the fuck, man.
I know, yeah,
dude. We've told so many stories on here about irresponsible dog owners and aggressive dogs that people
blame you for.
They blame you for, man.
It's your fault that my dog fucking did that.
Yeah, and I've seen it that way. I've also seen it, you know, because I've talked about it before. I've owned several aggressive dogs in my life. And you'll have it on a leash, controlled at your side, and a good heel, paying attention to you. But then you get some asshole's dog that charges you.
Yep.
And you tell them, my dog's not friendly. Please control your dog.
Yeah.
And they still won't. Don't worry.
They can't.
They're like, don't worry, he's friendly. That's cool. My dog's not.
Yeah.
And if your dog charges up on my dog, he's going to react. And I'm going to have to try to control him the best I can.
Yeah.
But he's on a leash under my control. Like, you need to keep your dog away from me.
Yeah.
And I've had to, and that's why, like, my last two pit bulls, the one that's injured right now got hit by a car, and the one I had to put down last fall, I got to the point where I stopped taking them to the trails. Like, initially I would take them hiking a lot, you know, always on a leash because they were never human aggressive, but they were dog aggressive. Or maybe dog reactive is probably the more appropriate, you know, designation for it. But it just got too stressful because so many irresponsible people out there, like, and it's people like that I was like, okay, I just can't.
I got a sketchy dog, but
I just can't enjoy these trails anymore with these dogs because there's so many stupid fucking people out there.
Dude, man. I know. Yeah, I mean, I've trained Akka to leave dogs alone. Like, he's really good.
He doesn't care. He just runs around.
Yeah. Every once in a while, because man, dogs want to be social. Mm-hmm. Like, they want to go say hi to other dogs, but like you said, you got dogs that aren't social, and so you respect that, and they run around. But it's funny though, man, because I can see dog owners that have their dogs on a leash like get tense when they see Akka because they're so used to dogs just
would make me tense.
Up.
Like if I, you know, obviously if I didn't know you and Akka and I was out on the trail with my dog on a leash and I seen Akka running loose, I'd make me nervous. I'd be like, fuck.
Yep.
Here's somebody else with a dog that's gonna charge us. Yep. You know, and then it's like, god damn it, man.
Yeah, and I've had some interactions with people, and you can tell that they're not mad at me and Akka. Like, they're mad at the fucking dozen bad dogs and dog owners that they've run into and had problems with. And, you know, I try to be empathetic and like, all right, you know, my dog.
That's why I feel real strongly, man. You just see, like, when I take Frank out, if I always have a leash with me.
Yep.
If there's other, like, I got Frank listening pretty good.
Yeah.
And if I get him early and he wears a shock collar, that way if he's not on leash, boom, I can blast him, I get his attention. And I don't even let him think about looking at that other dog. I don't give a fuck. Like, because for the past 15 years of my life, I've been on the other end.
Yeah.
And so I feel super strongly about it.
Yeah.
Like, I won't even let him think about it.
Yeah.
And then if I don't think, if there's even a slightest doubt in my mind that I'm not going to be able to control him with my voice, I put him on the leash.
Yep.
And he doesn't get that chance. Just because I've been that other person, man. And I just...
No, I've always got a leash for Akka.
Yeah,
Same
you
thing,
have to, man.
You have
like,
to.
just be responsible. Like,
you got to be aware, man. You're out on the trail. I know. Like, I am... my radar's on for other trail users so that I can be in control of the situation. I'm not just walking around fucking oblivious and not paying attention to that. It's like, man, being a good dog owner is a skill.
Yeah, it's a skill and it's work.
Yeah.
It's not just, let's buy a dog.
Let's buy a dog and let's just go on hikes because I see myself as an outdoorsy person with a dog. So here I am, outdoorsy person with a dog. Look at me.
A lot of stupid people do that.
Fucking morons, man. Mm-hmm. I'm like, dude, the outdoorsy people are driving me nuts. Yeah, the invasion of the outdoorsy people. Mm-hmm. You know, they don't do anything, right? They're not like like they just do a bunch of shit. They're like the jacks of all trades, right? Because they just like to be outdoors. And so outdoorsy people, they do a little bouldering and they ride mountain bikes and they go hiking and they go camping and they got a stand-up paddleboard. You know what I mean? Like it's this outdoorsy lifestyle. Like we're in the fucking mecca of it, man. Like here in Colorado, you get these yuppies over in Denver. Like that's their whole lifestyle. They all think they're fucking outdoorsy hip, people. And they're just ruining other sports and activities because, man, if you're going to be part of a sport, like those sports have a culture.
Yep.
And that culture is there partly to keep the integrity and sustainability of the sport there. So, like for jiu-jitsu, like there's a reason part of the culture is you don't hurt your training partner. It's part of the culture. But if you come in, you're just a fucking tourist and you come in for a class and you don't really understand that and that's why like the rowdy white belts are the most dangerous because they don't know the culture yet. On some level. But that's you see this, man, and so they go and they ride mountain bikes, but they don't know the mountain biking culture. So they ride off trails and they just do stupid shit. They go camping and they fucking don't understand like how to not leave a trace.
Yep.
They go, oh, let's go hike a 14er. Oh, everybody's parked here, so we'll just pull over here on the fucking grass. It's just they don't understand
the etiquette
and the culture of the activities that they're getting involved in. And it's just they're just tourists. They just kind of, oh, we'll do this weekend and this next weekend and that the next weekend. And yeah, and unfortunately this is being driven by these industries, man, because they realize like, oh, if we can get, there's only so many people who want to be mountain bikers. But if we can get the outdoorsy folks to see mountain biking as something that they do too, or you know what I mean? And so like these industries and sports are like advertising to these motherfuckers because these people bring money in, but they are fucking horrible for the soul of the sport. And yeah, but that, a lot of it, man, I think, like that's what you're running into, like on the trails. There's a lot of just outdoorsy people. They don't really understand the etiquette. They don't really understand how to be a good, dog owner on the trail. Like, it's a skill. It's things that you need to understand. They don't give a fuck. It's not, this is just, I just go and I do this and whatever. And, yeah. It's fucking maddening, man. I think the outdoorsy people should just stay the fuck home. Be indoorsy people again.
Educate yourself. What it takes to be a good, responsible dog owner. Not to be a fucking asshole.
Yeah, how to be a good citizen of whatever sport or activity you're participating in is just a good way to go about things. But it's just amazing how many people don't think about that. It's like, they're just like fucking bulls in china shops, just knocking into everything everywhere they go and oblivious to it because they're like in their own little bubble. It's me.
They're not responsible for it. Whatever happens is somebody else's fault.
Yeah, or they just don't even see it because they're so focused on themselves. They don't even see the fucking damage that they cause and the things that they do. So, anyways.
I don't know. That shit gets me fired up too.
Yeah.
Shitty dog people. Shitty people, but in general.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of that for sure. It was just weird, man. It's like that lady I could tell she lost her fucking mind a little bit. Because it's like, she was really relying heavily on the thin veneer of society to keep her safe.
Yeah. Yeah, what's going to stop you just from pummeling her?
Yes. What? And dude, you know what? And here's the other thing too, man. Like, we live in a concealed carry state.
Yeah.
You drive your fucking car at me and I got a gun on me.
We live in an open carry state.
Open carry state.
You don't even have to have a fucking permit.
Right, but I'm saying like you don't know. I'm saying it's concealed carry, meaning like anyone you run into on the street, you don't know. They may have a gun.
Yep, and rightfully, from the sounds of it, like if you would have had a firearm and she's driving your car at you at a high rate of speed, if you felt your life was in danger and your family's life was in danger,
yep,
you could have shot her.
Yep, exactly. I know, and that's why I was like, dude, this lady. She's completely insane at the moment. Like, she's lost all rational thought because she is putting herself in a dangerous situation, very dangerous situation. And I realized too, like, well, how do I know she doesn't have a gun?
Exactly, you don't.
Right,
and she's coming unhinged like that.
Yeah, again, and this is why I'm like, hey, man, I'm not.
Yeah, you don't want to.
I want to get fucking engaged with you. I'm like, trying to. calm things down and just disengage and walk away. And but yeah, dude, people just don't. They don't the consequences for their actions.
Most people don't understand violence at all.
No,
they really have no clue.
I know
of what violence really is.
And what does this chick think she's gonna do? Exactly. She's gonna kick my ass.
Yeah, exactly. They're just so. Most people are so clueless as to what their capabilities or lack thereof are.
Yeah,
and what can transpire.
Yeah.
They just because they've never experienced it.
Oh,
yeah. They see movies and TV, and they just a couple years back, I was visiting my brother, and it was his mother-in-law, and it was there, and we got talking, and it was a maddening conversation. I had to remove myself from it because I could tell I wasn't gonna. I tried to explain it to her. Well, she was under the impression that there's kind of like these things is like these death touches.
The Dimmock.
The Dimmock, like, if a special forces person hits you right in the right spot, it could kill you. I mean, she was really certain of this because she knew like a special forces guy or something, and I'm just like, I said, well, okay, let me try to break this down for you. I was like, okay, it possibly... Theoretically, if I was to hit you in an exact perfect spot, maybe, yes, it could kill you. But if you'd have to be, for that to happen, you'd have to be standing perfectly still, not defending yourself. And I just, you probably have a better chance of winning a lotto than you do, killing somebody with one strike. Unless it's a fucking baseball bat to the head. Or something, you know what I mean?
Fucking, what was it, The Last Boy Scout, Bruce Willis, touch me one more time, I'm gonna kill you. And he fucking gives him the elbow shiver and shoves his nose up into his brain. Right?
And then but people think that's real.
Right, yeah.
People really think that shit is legit. They think you can hit them right in the right spot in the rib and it'll puncture the lung in the heart and kill them, or you can shove the nose bone into their brain. You can hit them on the side of the neck and all this shit for movies and stuff. And I tried to explain it. I really did. I was like, listen. I was like, I've been involved in martial arts pretty much my entire life. I was like, I have a pretty good understanding of what humans are capable of and how to fuck people up and how not to get fucked up. I was like, dude, that's not going to happen. I was like, that is just not going to happen. And she wouldn't let it go. She's like, no, that's real. And I tried to okay, it is real. To a certain extent, again, you're standing there not moving anything. And she just, you could tell she was just so stuck on that. She really believed that could happen. And I think a lot of people think like that. Their idea of violence is fucking John Wick movies.
Right.
And it's...
Yeah.
No.
No. Fucking Bruce Lee's gonna...
Yeah.
Was it Kelly's brother who does the karate? Mm-hmm. He calls her up the other day, just out of the blue, and asks her, is jiu-jitsu effective against multiple opponents? And, because that's kind of the point of karate is that, if you go to the ground with one person and there's multiple opponents, you're in danger. And so the whole point of karate is that you don't go to the ground because you're able to punch and kick and do all the shit that keeps, on the feet. And I know I'm laughing when she tells me this. I'm like, didn't we answer this question in UFC 1? Mm-hmm. I mean, we've answered this fucking question. It has been answered, man.
It's been answered.
Your karate master is not going to get the one blow KO. This is what you're talking about, basically. This idea that they're going to somehow punch you in the fucking throat, or, again, theoretically, yes. You could get a lucky shot or something from someone coming in, but someone who knows half-ass thing about grappling, man, and they're what's really effective against multiple opponents?
What's that? A gun?
A gun? Or running.
Running.
Yes! That's super effective against multiple opponents.
Well, and that's another thing. People who ask that question or under that impression, they've never legitimately been jumped.
No.
Because when you get jumped, they don't take turns.
Right.
They don't come at you one attacker at a time. You get mobbed from fucking... I've been jumped. I got my ass fucking pummeled. Because guess what? You get hit. You can only deal with one person at a time. And next, you get punched in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Your Dimmock's not saving you from that.
No.
You're dealing with this guy, dude, you get punched in the back of the head, someone kicks your legs, Next thing you know, you just go down and you cover up your vital organs.
Yeah.
And then you try to get up and get out of there.
Yeah.
That's how a fight really goes down.
Yeah.
I've
Multiple
experienced
punches. It's not Bruce Lee.
I've experienced it first fucking hand. There's nothing that's gonna let you defeat multiple opponents. If they really want to fuck you up, they're all gonna fuck you up at once.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. If they know anything about fucking, they're not gonna stand there and like, oh, get him, Johnny, get him, Billy. You know, they're not gonna take turns testing you.
Right.
They're gonna run in and just fucking maul you.
Well, that's what made fucking Musashi's shit so impressive when he took out that clan. It's like, showed up, knew they were going to be there. All of them were going to fucking try to kill him. Still managed to take him out. You know, and he talked about like having to control the group and like, so there's a strategy to that.
They had swords.
They had swords.
That's a different.
You got 3-foot razor blades.
That's a different type of combat.
That are keeping people at bay. Yeah, much different,
It's a
man.
different type of combat.
Yeah.
You're just getting jumped.
You're not going to just come rushing in.
You can just rush in.
Yeah.
If me and you were fighting somebody, we can just rush in and fuck him up.
Yeah.
We don't have to take turns.
Right.
We're both fucking him up. You go high,
Yeah.
you go high, I go low. We're
Yeah.
fucking this dude up.
Yeah,
Coming from
yeah.
the side, you know what I mean?
Well, even if you come in and you got fucking razor blades
That's-
or lightsabers or whatever,
That's a different.
you got to be a little more careful.
That's a different thing. You can't
So-
you can't just rush in.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, it was funny, man. But we were talking about it, and she's like, and I told her, I was like, it comes from a good place, you know, because I mean, somewhere deep down, he legitimately believes that what he's doing is like the best and necessary, and that by not focusing on it, you're missing out. Like, you're being fooled by jiu-jitsu somehow. Like, jiu-jitsu is keeping you from actually focusing on what is the most important thing in a self-defense situation, which is punching and kicking. And so, and I'm sure him and his master, sensei, whatever it is, like, they have conversations like we're having a conversation right now. You know what I mean? They're talking about, those jiu-jitsu guys, they don't understand the realities of fighting, man. If you got multiple people coming at you, you don't want to go to the ground. And so then he comes and calls his sister and is like, hey, so he's like legitimately like thinking like, man, I need to help you. You're being misled on some level. And so,
oh my God.
Yeah, but but it comes from a good place. You know what I mean? He's a nice guy.
Yeah, it comes from a good place.
Right. He's not coming at it from like, I'm right and you're wrong. Like, there's some people who are just assholes and like, I gotta be right and I'm not gonna drop it because I gotta be right. Like, I don't think that's where he's coming from. And then it's more like he legitimately believes. But if you think about it, like, in his lifetime, and especially in his teachers, his sensei's lifetime, man, pre-UFC 1, people thought that was the shit. People thought you were going to be able to fucking karate kick your way out of multiple opponents, and that it was up for debate. Was this style of karate the best, or this style, or what was the best? And so, like, imagine like coming up doing this thing, and you truly, like, you're told and you believe and you have the quote unquote proof that what you're studying is the shit, the best. And then all of a sudden, some fucking skinny Brazilian in fucking white pajamas chokes everybody out in a tournament, and it's like, no, that's not true. The whole landscape has changed. Man, it's got to be tough. That's got to be super tough. Like, you got to think, like, there'll always be enclaves, but man, it's going to be a few generations until that kind of starts going away more. Like, we laugh about it, right? That's the thing. Like, when Kiela and I were talking about it, like, we just assume, because the circles we run in, that everybody just understands the importance of grappling. Like, even if you don't want to do jiu-jitsu, you need to do jiu-jitsu so you know what they're trying to do to you. So you have to be able to stop them, even if you don't want to fucking do it. So you have to study it. You have to know it. You can't just be completely ignorant of it. And we think this is the norm. And we laugh at people who fucking don't, but then her brother's one of these people.
I know. Well, dude, I started in Tang Sudo karate when I was 5 years old, and I did that until the age of 13ish or something. Then I got back into Hapkido when I was 20, 21, and did that. So I've experienced these kind of ridiculous thought process.
Yeah.
You know, and that question comes up. Well, what do you do with multiple opponents?
Fucking run.
I've taught several like women's self-defense seminars, and I open up every one. I'm like, listen, I can't teach you to be Superman or Superwoman. The best thing you can do is keep yourself healthy and in good enough shape, and have situational awareness and run the fuck away.
Yep.
There's going to be very few times in your life where you can't do that. If someone came in your house, obviously you're not going to run away and leave your family.
Right.
But, like, out in public and shit, just get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Sense it when it's going south. And, like, okay, pack it up. Let's go. Let's get in the car, hike a different day, go another. Yeah, it's going to suck. It's going to hurt your pride and your ego a little bit. You know, it stings.
Yep.
And, you know, but, yeah. Like, this multiple opponents thing is so funny.
It is fucking, that is.
Like, are you living in fucking 1500 feudal Japan? You know?
Yeah.
What is happening here?
Yeah. Well, I mean, even, like, Krav Maga, like, my one experience with that, you know, the weekend seminar thing, you know, that is actually a martial art that is designed in reality. Mm-hmm. And their whole message is run. If you can't run, you attack with extreme fucking violence quickly. And then you run. It's always run. Like, I remember that every drill ended with you checking and running. It's like, what you do in drilling is what you're going to do in real life. It's like, yeah, you fuck that dude up. You check to make sure he doesn't have any friends, and you get the fuck out of there. They finished every drill like that. And so, like, it's like run, or if you have to engage, you fucking
you violently as possible,
violent and smash and run,
and then go.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not standing there squaring off. Fucking.
There's no rules.
No. Yeah, man.
There's no rules.
No, dude. That's the multiple opponents thing is.
It's so funny.
It is funny.
And it's crazy. In the year 2020, you still have people thinking about that and asking that.
But man, you're doing karate. You're fucking learning. I remember the Korean martial art that I did. It was like related to Taekwondo, but. He was like, "No, this is the Korean mother art." I remember is what he told us. And, you know, there's like legends of generals, you know, using these techniques and, you know, striking down, you know, people with one blow. And
it was probably the same. Just mine was Korean, Tang Sudo, Mudok Kwan.
Yeah,
and it's a Korean martial art. I don't know what all those words mean. Those are just sounds I'm making with my face. But
yeah,
it's probably the same thing.
Probably,
it was, you know, because it was like a karate, / Taekwondo. You know,
right? Well, they had like some joint locks that taught you how to rip somebody's ear off.
Yeah, I think if I remember right, I think we'd do a few like, you know, kind of like joint locks type stuff, like in the self defense portion, because it was a sport too.
Right.
We had tournaments to where we would spar and do forms, katas and shit.
Yep.
And then, but there was self defense portions of it.
Yeah, and I think that's what kind of separated it from Taekwondo, which is just pure sport. Was like, no, they still had some of the self-defense shit, like, oh, you grab the wrist and you can fucking
you roll your hand over.
Roll over. It's like, even if they hit you and you go down, your weight's gonna fucking break their wrist. Like, there was some legitimate shit in there. Like, that's the thing, everybody laughs, man, but, you know, you like, because you want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. You talk to Karate Guy who thinks he's gonna be able to take out multiple opponents, and you're like, Jesus Christ, dude, karate people. But man, there's some shit in there that's good. Like, if I was gonna have to fucking hit someone in the head, you know, I'd not punch him in the face with a closed fist.
Why's your dog all wet?
He probably went outside.
He's soaking wet.
He went and jumped in the ditch. Probably.
Oh, did he?
Probably took him out on a walk.
That makes sense because he stinks now. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh no, man!
It threw me for a loop. I was like, why do I smell like wet, fishy dog? And then I pet him, and I'm like, oh, I'm soaked. I was like, oh yeah, dog is all wet.
Fuck yeah!
That's funny. I would.
Yeah. Anyways, it was like, what is it? Like the side fucking...
The ridge hand.
The ridge hand.
That's the ridge hand, boy.
Dude,
that's effective, son.
Fuck yeah, dude. I mean, again, I never hit anybody with it, but like, you get good at... You know, you practice that on the fucking bag and be able to hit hard.
Oh, yeah.
That thing comes flying out from the side on you and catches you in the side of the head. Like,
I broke a lot of boards with the old ridge hand.
Did
boy.
you?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's a good one.
I'm still pretty good at it. I got fucking...
Yeah, but there's a reason, like, that they taught you how to attack with and hit with the sides of your hands as opposed to closed fists. Right, yeah. So, like, there's fucking good, legit shit in there. But, anyways.
So, I wanted to ask you about your breathing stuff. What you would call Laird Hamilton's XPT?
Yes, yeah. So I finished the course.
Yeah.
The breathing course. Yeah, it was good. I like how they waited until I signed up to start sending me the 20% off coupons for the course.
Oh, bastards. Of course.
Which is, it's $100. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I thought it was worth $500. So it's, yeah, you wish you had that extra $100, but I'm not like disappointed, so to speak. No, man, it was I liked it. I liked it a lot. I learned a ton. I'd say that if anyone's interested in like, kind of learning more about breath work or maybe even working with people on it, like it's a really good place to start. But yeah, because they kind of use the whole range. Like they go everything from, like the breathe light, like kind of trying to work on your CO2 tolerance type breathing, to they have like Wim Hof style breathing, and they got breath holds. And so it's like, it runs the full gamut. But yeah, the couple good assessments. Again, we were talking earlier, man, it's funny, like breathing, it is transformational, but it's not rocket science. Mm-hmm. So like you do need to focus on a few things. It's not crazy. Like I'm always worried about underwhelming people with, I'm going to assess your breathing, and I can, people, oh wow,
sweet assessment.
What the fuck's going to happen? Yeah, it's going to be crazy. And then it's like, all right, so put your hand on your stomach and your hand on your chest, and you want to feel the hand on your stomach moving. Okay, there you go. Put your hands on your ribs. You want to feel the hands expanding out to the side. Perfect. It's not, and like I said, it's not rocket science, but the problem is most people can't do that. You start checking them. And so like the basic assessments that they have was the high-low, where again, you got your hand on your belly and hand on the chest. And what you're looking for is that the belly is expanding and that you don't want vertical movement of the chest. So you don't want your hand moving up and down. So any up and down movement is bad. Your chest should rise. It's kind of, it gets confusing because your chest needs to rise. It just needs to like rise like it's expanding, right? Mm-hmm. So instead of rising up, it rises out and it expands out.
Okay.
And so you do need to access the top of your lungs when you need to. And that's the other thing, is when you are, breathing at rest, you really shouldn't be using the chest at all. Like, so if you are just sitting there chilling and you're like really feeling a lot of like movement in the chest, then like that's not a good sign either. So you really want to be able to drive the breathing from the belly, because that's an indicator of diaphragmatic breathing. Mm-hmm. You want to breathe with the old diaphragm. And then the other one is they call it the Superman, and you put like a C grip on your bottom few ribs, so not on the soft part, but right on those bottom few ribs. And then you want to feel like when you breathe in that your hands expand out, and then as you breathe out, your hands collapse in. And so that's actually a better indicator of diaphragmatic breathing than the belly, because you can use your stomach muscles to just make your stomach move in and out, not actually be driving from the diaphragm. And so if you have your belly moving, but you don't have those hands moving laterally when you're doing the Superman.
You're not actually using your diaphragm.
Right, yeah. And then the third is the low back as well. You want to feel like the low back expanding. And so you can lay on your stomach and check, or have somebody check. But the main one is the belly, and then the ribs. Man, the other good thing I got from it was called the doming the diaphragm. Have you done the self-tickling bullshit? Mm-mm. Oh god, dude. First time you do it, it's gonna feel weird.
We're going to the farmer's market.
Okay, cool. Get some pretzels.
Yeah. You want some pretzels?
Raw sure, I want to. That sounds good. Yeah. With it. Oh, like the spice. Oh yeah, get some spicy ones.
How spicy?
Oh, I don't know. They don't go like crazy nuclear spicy, do they?
Oh yeah.
The habanero.
All right, go a step down.
We do horseradish.
Yeah, do a step down from nuclear. Okay. Don't go nuclear. Whatever.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah, you can just right at the bottom of your rib cage, you press in again. This isn't a challenge to fucking snap the tip of your ribs off, but you should be able to press in and get your fingers in under the edge of your ribs. Mm-hmm. So. And if you can't, then the diaphragm's kind of stuck. Like that means if you go to push and you're like, man, I won't move. Like the diaphragm is stuck, and so it's like giving it a massage and pushing it. Yeah, dude. When I do it, this right side is always so much tighter, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's the side everybody's knee on belly. Right. Yeah.
I gotta play with that. This isn't.
Yeah.
Really, I'll have to mess with it.
It's a good one to do before you're breathing. So like before I do my breathing, even like
massage
the off stuff,
and get it loose.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll dome the diaphragm, and so like breathing. You know, they say like kind of massage it, find the tight spot, and then find it, and then you breathe in, and then out, and then with it push out. Because with an exhale is where your diaphragm is at rest. And then you can kind of massage it while it's at rest, and then, yeah. So that's a good one. The high-low, and then the Superman are just, you don't have to do them for very long. You know, I mean, a couple minutes total, just to kind of make sure you've got your breathing set and you're breathing efficiently. And so, yeah, so those are kind of the physical assessments. The other thing they said is to, check the breathing in different positions, which again makes sense, but until you think about it, you don't really think about it. But just because you can breathe well lying down doesn't mean you can breathe well kneeling or standing, or even like getting into activity, seeing how people are breathing when they're lifting and doing the cardio, but checking that. The other assessment they like is the BOLT score, the body oxygen level tolerance or test. I forget what the T stands for. But for that one, at rest, you just do an exhale. So it's kind of like a Wim Hof type exhale, just a relaxed exhale, not a full like exhale. And then you hold it, and you see how long you can hold it for. And then you're looking for the first sign of oxygen hunger. And so that could be like the diaphragm getting tight, or the throat and chest, or just even like, hey, I need to breathe. And so at that point, you're supposed to stop the clock, check to see what time you got. The way you know you've done it right is when you get done, you should be able to go to just a relaxed nose breathing pattern again. So if you get done and you're like, that's too far. That was like, so you should, get done and be like.
So you're not really trying to like push,
No,
like,
it's not a
how
max.
long I can do it.
It's a sub-max, right? Yeah, we're not doing like the Wim Hof where we're like, I got it. So, but that will, it gives you an idea of where your CO2 tolerance levels are, like as the CO2 rises. The brain, because that's how the brain regulates oxygen. And your CO2 levels rise, and your brain says, okay, well, my oxygen levels must be going down. I need to trigger breathing. And that's where you get the like, I gotta fucking breathe, like the panicky. It's no longer like a metabolic cardio thing. It's a mental.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like it's we've all been there, man.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking tapped to it before.
Yeah.
It's after a fucking hard scramble, and you're in a bad position, and you can't fucking breathe, and your brain is just freaking out, and like, and as soon as you do, you're like, God damn it, but it was a mental thing, and that's what it is. Your brain, those CO2 levels get to a certain point, and it triggers the lizard brain. It triggers the like, I have got to fucking breathe, or I'm gonna die feeling. And so the less tolerant you are to CO2 levels rising, the quicker that feeling is gonna come on. And so the BOLT test kind of gives you an indicator of where you're at, and it also helps you look at what I'm doing with my breathing program working. Because that should be getting better if it is. And so optimal, or I guess average, what you're looking for is like 25 to 30 seconds. If you're an athlete, 40 seconds plus is what they're looking for. I got 17. I'm a fucking overbreather. That's one thing I've figured out is I'm overbreathe. And so when you overbreathe, you're taking in more oxygen, but you're also blowing out more CO2. And so
you're not very CO2 tolerant.
Right. Well, your body gets used to the new low CO2 levels. Right. So if we're sitting here at rest and you take, 5 or 6 breaths a minute, and I take 15 breaths in that same minute, like you're doing way better than me, because I'm taking in more oxygen and I'm blowing out more CO2. So like your blood gases are like, oxygen here and CO2's here. And then my breathing results in O2 going up and CO2 going down. And so it skews it this way. And then your body gets used to the new lowered CO2 levels. This is the new baseline. And so it doesn't take much to start bumping it up and then, triggering that panicky response. And the other thing is that your body needs the CO2 to even utilize the oxygen. Like that's the kick in the pants, is that the CO2 is your body uses CO2 to offload the oxygen in the red blood cells. So if you don't have CO2 present, then one, you're also not going to have, CO2 creates a more acidic environment in the body, which again, it makes it easier for the red blood cells to offload the oxygen. And so if you don't have enough CO2, then you're not going to have the right metabolic environment, and you're not going to have the CO2 to actually utilize the oxygen that you're taking in. Mm-hmm. And so optimally, that's why you want the blood gases to have this, ratio where the oxygen is not too high and the CO2 is not too low. Because even if I have more oxygen, I don't have the CO2 to use it. So I'm not actually using that extra oxygen that I'm taking in. When I'm taking 15 breaths a minute, you're making more efficient use of the oxygen that you're taking in.
It's interesting.
It is. It's super interesting. Like the over-breathing thing is a big problem. And you don't really think about it.
Our bodies are adaptation machines. And so if you just do that subconsciously for so long, your body just adapts. And then, this is our baseline.
Yep.
This is what I need to be prepared for.
And so that's one of the strategies that, the attacking cardio, the Wim Hof method, I feel, is like taking your breath to the gym, like you're trying to expand your lungs, man. How much air can I take in? It's like and then doing that works your breathing muscles too. Like, man, sometimes I get done, man, I'm fucking a little sore. Mm-hmm. Like my mid-back.
My mid-back.
Yeah. Will get sore from fucking like...
Yeah.
And so you're working those muscles out, and so you're improving how much oxygen you can take in. And then the other side of it is improving your CO2 tolerance so that you can tolerate higher levels of CO2 so that you can actually use more of that oxygen that you're taking in. So if you can take in more oxygen, but your CO2 tolerance hasn't risen, you're still not going to be able to use it. You have to be able to...
It doesn't matter if you bring a bunch more oxygen in.
No, And that's why the professional athletes sucking oxygen on the sidelines is retarded.
It's placebo.
Yep, it's placebo. Because without the CO2 in the body as well, it can't use the oxygen. And so it's called the Bohr effect is the name of that, where like the body needs CO2 to offload the oxygen. But it makes sense, right? Because if I start working and a muscle's working, well, the carbon dioxide, the CO2 is one of the byproducts. And so and that's preferentially where I want the oxygen going and offloading, is where the work is happening. And so, it's your body's way of making sure that you're able to utilize the oxygen efficiently where you need it. But if you're constantly like over breathing and just like you're just over blowing out the CO2, and you're making that hard.
You're making it harder on yourself.
Yeah. So, and that's where like nose breathing comes in, because one, it'll help regulate you're more likely to use your diaphragm. You get the NO2, nitric oxide, which acts to help expand the blood vessels. You get it gets humidified and purified, so like the air that hits your lungs is definitely of a higher quality breathing through the nose. And so that is you want to really strive for that nose breathing to drive most of your breathing. And then also extending your exhales. Like you want to do that. So if you can keep your exhales longer than your inhales, then you're staying metabolically balanced with the gases, right? Okay. And so as soon as that flips though, right? So say I'm breathing into a count of 4 and out to a count of 6. Easy, right? And then things ramp up, and now I got to go to like 4 or 2. Like the reason I do that is because CO2 levels are rising, and I instinctively am trying to like blow some out to get the CO2 levels back down. So my metabolic my gas ratios are starting to go out of whack. So
it's kind of weird that when it gets out of whack, that like instinctively, like your body goes into a method like that's not gonna correct it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wonder why that is.
Well, I think it's not instinctive. I think it's habitual.
Habitual?
Because if you habitually overbreathe,
that's just what you know.
You're just going to crank it up even higher.
Okay.
Like you're just, because if you are at 5 breaths per minute and your CO2 levels rise, you need to breathe more. You do need to increase your respiratory rate to 10, 15 breaths a minute. but if your baseline is 15, well, now you're going to increase to 30. And now is where you're actually making the problem worse. This is where hyperventilation comes in.
Okay.
Because there's a difference between superventilation and hyperventilation. That's where people get confused with the Wim Hof method. Because it sounds like hyperventilation, but it's not. With hyperventilation, you're not taking a full inhale. And you're usually breathing into the chest and not using the diaphragm to get the lungs filled. So you're not getting a lot of oxygen in, and then you're blowing out a shit ton of CO2. Mm-hmm. So man, that's
hyperventilating.
That's hyperventilating, man.
That's why people pass out.
They freak out. They get panic attacks. Yes, yes, that is exactly it right there. Yeah. And that's why breathing into a paper bag helps that, because you're getting CO2. Uh-huh. You're fucking recycling the CO2, and so you're in. You know, it's always weird. I never understood
the paper bag.
The paper bag thing.
That makes sense now. I never thought about it, but yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Perfect sense. You know, I always thought like the paper bag would make it worse. Like I need to get oxygen, and I need more oxygen. That's the problem. And it's like, no, you need CO2.
You need CO2.
There's a point where you need the CO2, not the oxygen. And so the super ventilation, like the Wim Hof, you're taking full inhales. I mean, from the bottom to the top. And so you're actually taking in a shit ton of oxygen, and then you're blowing out the CO2. So you're seeing the CO2 levels drop and the O2 levels go up. Mm-hmm. And that's what you know, so you are kind of like, you're over breathing on purpose. And you know, you don't want to chronically do that and have that be your new normal, but doing that on occasion helps, you know, all sorts of different, you know, effects in the body. So, but yeah, so that's kind of the was kind of my take home message, was you want to start with the CO2 tolerant stuff, because that stuff is a lot easier for you to learn good breathing mechanics, because a lot of it is light breathing or having extended inhales and exhales and holds, and so you're not doing it quick. And so it's just like anything else. You're going to get a chance to learn the mechanics of something better doing it slow, like slow is smooth and then smooth is fast. And so, yeah, if you check yourself, like this is how I would have done. I'm glad I jumped into Wim Hof because it led me on this journey. But when I'm working with people, if their breathing mechanics are off,
we're jump into Wim Hof.
Yeah, we're not going to jump into that. We're going to start off with like probably the most basic drill that people can do is a breathe light drill. So like you set a timer for 5 to 10 minutes and you just try to breathe as little as you need to. You're not holding your breath, but you're just sipping in as little air as you need on the inhale and then exhaling as little as you need on the exhale. You know, keeping like a 5 to 6 second inhale and exhale. But again, like I can do a 5-6 second inhale and go, you know, full in, full out in that time. Or I can sit here and be like,
where it doesn't look like you're doing anything.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it looks like I'm not breathing at all, right? And so what you want to do with that is you actually want to build a little oxygen hunger. You're trying to get the CO2 levels up. And then it's just like anything else. If you put yourself in a slightly elevated state, your body will adapt to it. Mm-hmm. If you go way over it, your body's going to freak out and, you know, it's not going to adapt to that. So you're using the breathe light to want to help reset the breathing, using the diaphragm more efficiently, and then it'll help with the CO2 levels. But it's kind of like the isometrics, where you got to do it a few times before you really start to get the feel for it.
And then you get more benefits from it.
Yeah. At first, you're like, you know, it's hard to put yourself in oxygen hunger because you're so used to avoiding it. Mm-hmm. And so after doing it a few times, you start to get to the point where you're a little more comfortable with getting there and staying there. And so, but that the breathe light, you know, holding your breath during cardio is another thing. Like it's like holding on the exhale and, you know, like walking and then seeing how many steps you can get before you got to breathe again, and like doing that for 5 or 6 rounds, trying to extend how far you can walk. Or I mean, you can do it on
push-ups or something.
Bike or push-ups, but it'd be more of like a cardio. Just, you can do it running. It'd be a little harder, but just kind of trying to put yourself purposefully in a heightened CO2 level state so that your body just develops a better relationship with it. It's really like the goal of it. So
sweet.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna do a good ice bath today, man. I bought one of those little like tabletop ice makers.
Okay.
So whenever I'm home, I'm just making ice.
Yeah.
And they say that thing will make 26 pounds of ice in 24 hours. So I accumulated. I got about 60 or 70 pounds of ice. And so today,
that'll be legit.
Today when I get home, it's gonna be hot as balls. I'm gonna work out outside. So basically, it's contrast training. I did this in Denver last weekend because it was hot as shit there too. And I went out and worked out in the middle of the day. Dude, in the tap water in Denver, it's fucking cold. Way colder than here in the desert. I was like, oh shit. Like, it was enough to, it was funny. Because what I did is, I went out there and I did a workout in the middle of the day. It just got hot. It was hot. It was like struggle city. And then I took the garden and I did a little bit of Wim Hof breathing. Like, I got done my workout and rested for a second, and I was like, oh, I got the garden hose here, and I had Frank's kiddie pool out there, so I just stood in the kiddie pool, and I was just going to run the hose over my head, and I did a little bit of Wim Hof breathing to, kind of prepare myself, but I was used to my tap water.
Yeah.
And it took, how when you get in cold and if you're not doing the Wim Hof, it takes your breath away.
Yeah.
I hit it on my head, my back, and I went, oh shit. I was like, then went my fucking Wim Hof breathing. I was like, I was not expecting that. Like, that water was fucking cold. Yeah. It felt good, man. So I was doing cold showers every day in Denver when I was there because it was legit. Like, you had to prepare for it. Like, here, I don't even think about it. It's not even a thing anymore because the water here, I've tested it, it's like 70, 71. Yeah. That's not cold. No. That's not cold at all. That's as cold as it gets this time of year here. Yep. But out of their water source in Denver is coming from up higher or something. Yeah. And it was cold, man. I didn't check it. I didn't have a thermometer to check it. But today, I'm going to kind of do the same thing. I'm going to go do a workout, be nice and hot, and then I'm going to fill my stock tank up and dump 70 pounds of ice in there and see how cold I got. It's funny, I bought this baby bathwater thermometer. So, so it's a little rubber ducky. Yeah. And it's got a thermometer on it. So I'm going to be floating around in my stock tank with this rubber ducky as a thermometer.
It's fucking awesome.
Seeing how, because what's Wim say? You got to get the temperatures down to like 61 degrees or 60 or something like that. Yeah. That's like the warm. That's like the warmest it should be. So I'm hoping, because last time I did it, I dumped about 30 pounds of ice in there, and still the water only got down to, I think it was like 67 or something. I can't remember exactly. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm hoping 60 to 70 pounds of ice will get it down there.
I'm sure it will.
We'll find out.
Get it close, man.
I don't know. As warm as that tap water is, and as warm as it is outside. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I'll try it. I mean, I got nothing to lose. Just make more ice.
Yeah,
figure it out.
Just row with the paddle you got.
Yeah, exactly.
Would say.
So I'm looking forward to doing that today.
Yeah, I'm actually kicking around getting a tank or something.
Dude, the stock tank, $45, dude.
I know. The ice is the big thing. It's not the tank.
No,
it's the fucking ice. It's committing to.
Because you got because the reason the stock tank works better for me than like my bathtub, because I just have a normal sized bathtub. I don't have like a nice jacuzzi tub. Is you can't get all the way in. Yeah. Like you can sit in it and then your water only comes up past your belly button and I'm sitting up with my legs out. But if I want to get my upper body in, I gotta like lay down and then I have my feet like this, what I mean? So it's just like it's not conducive. Where that stock tank is big enough to where I can sit in it with my legs fully extended, sitting on my butt, and I can be water above my shoulders. Fuck yeah. And, it's a big size stock tank.
Yeah. That's what I mean the jacuzzi tub we got is pretty big, but I still have to like either have my shoulders out or my knees out or feet out or something. I can get a lot more in me than a regular tub.
But still not.
But it's
that stock tank for $45.
Yeah, man. I know, man. That's XPT does that shit where they'll have like an exposure, like an ice bath as one of your stations. Mm-hmm. So you'll do some exercises and then some cardio and then fucking jump in the ice tank and do a few rounds of that. So
the ice is a pain in the ass. I looked at getting like a commercial ice maker, like an old hotel one or a restaurant one. Yeah, those things are expensive. Oh, more money than I'm willing to spend. Even used ones, I hit up Craigslist and like the Denver area. Started to see, dude, they're still like old kind of beat up used ones, still like $1,000, man. There's several $1,000s for like newer ones and shit. Jesus. Like, yeah, dude. I mean, I didn't go way down the rabbit hole. I am not an ice machine expert by any stretch of the fucking imagination. Yeah. So I found the solution is just, dude, like the desktop one is like the size of that trash can, a little bit bigger. And that cost me $125 at Best Buy. And plug that bitch in and it doesn't hold all 26 pounds, obviously. It's not big enough. Right, yeah. The most it'll hold in the basket is like 1.5 pounds, something like 2 pounds. So you just turn it on and run it until that basket's full. And I dump that in a trash sack and throw it. And I got a chest freezer out in my garage.
Yeah,
and so that's the next thing. You got to figure out how to store it. It is. It's kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It's not a super easy procedure.
No.
I mean, because your guys' freezer's full because you got a family of 4 to feed.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have a giant freezer.
Yeah, see, I got a little chest freezer outside, but it's just me.
Yeah.
And so I don't have a ton of food in it. So I got room for 70 pounds of ice in there.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
So it seems to be a pretty good method so far. So, I mean, obviously with this method, I can't do ice baths every day.
Right.
That's a problem, but do I really want to do ice baths every day?
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't think it's really necessary.
I don't think so either.
I mean, if I had a cold plunge, if I could figure out a way to have like a continual like cold plunge pool to where I could have a thermostat on it and keep it at 55 degrees or whatever, and just water's filtering through. Well, of course that'd be ideal.
Yeah.
But I'm just
that fucking Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins has one there.
Like a fucking like square that you just
plunge
step
pool.
in.
Yeah, he's got a plunge. He talks about the benefits of a plunge pool. But.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not quite there yet.
Nope.
So I'll just do my cold showers. Stick with that.
And just keep at it now, and the water's gonna slowly get colder as we move later into the year. So
yeah. Just
keep it up.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Cool. I say we probably called it a wrap, man.
No, I think it's good.
I gotta get home and take my one dog to the vet and do all that kind of shit today. So.
Got some responsibilities.
I do. Can't train today. I gotta go home and be a professional dog physical therapist.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's good.
It's life.
It is.
Throws you curveballs once in a while. You gotta adapt.
Yeah, I know, man. If you're gonna commit to other life forms, sometimes they're gonna require time.
Yes.
As I remind myself, I'm sitting there arguing with my kids for 30 minutes, and I look up and I realize, like, God damn it, it's 30 minutes of my fucking life gone. So, anyways,
cool.
All right,
let's call it a wrap.
All right,
see you.
Thank you for listening to the Grumpy Guy BJJ Podcast.
Thank you all for listening. You can find us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Please make sure to subscribe and leave us a review. It really does help and will allow us to keep putting out episodes. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, hit us up at grumpyguybjj@gmail.com. Also, go to our website, grumpyguybjj.com, and get signed up for podcast updates and get our free BJJ Improvement Starter Kit. That's it for now, so get on the mat, train hard, and talk to you all next week.
Down clown with a permanent friend, a hermit now, boom. Doggy stool, foggy, cool, got a froggy outside Molly dude. Melancholy Daisy Duke, hanging by the lace of their shoes. No trace of the tools, shaped into face, fuck the rules. Snooze, you lose. One eye always open, in times two, no clue. But soon a brief monsoon might give you a view to choose. Stay tuned, include, won't conclude. To the end is near, beware there's consequences for what you do. To me and demon, a devil of many levels, I keep on feeding for several